One could ask this following question on this week's Parsha. Why is it after Klal Yisrael crossed the Yam Suf, the Sea of Reeds, the Red Sea, and Moshe led the Jewish people in the Shir Shoyam, the Song of the Sea, why is it that his sister Miriam, who oddly enough is described actually as Aaron's sister, not even Moshe's sister, why did she have to pick up the instruments and lead the women into the same song that Moshe did? Why? Why Miriam? And why did they have to do the song in the first place? Um, so it's a good question. And I think if we roll the tape back and we go back 80 years when Moshe was born, perhaps we have an interesting insight on why Miriam led the women in song. This past week, a friend of mine married off his first son. And unfortunately, I wasn't at the chasana, but a friend of mine called me today, and I asked him, what was it like? What was the hargasha? What was the feeling, the emotion at the wedding? And he said it was mole simcha, full of simcha. And he didn't have to explain much beyond that. I know the father, and I know the son, and I know the family, and I know the talmidim and the chevra. And because a father who gets to not just give birth to a child, but gets to rear him through his bar mitzvah and his experience in yeshiva, a father at their son's wedding must be a very special experience. And I'm not surprised that there was such simcha in the room and on the dance floor, because a father gets to see a child from the very, very beginning, the top of the first inning, all the way through the most important moments of his life. And Mitzvah Shem, up to 120, we get to see all of our children raised. And it's our greatest simcha as parents to see our children be productive and reach these beautiful milestones. Miriam is no different. Although Miriam was not a parent, she was a navi, a nevuah. Her nevuah before Moshe was born was that her parents would give birth to the ultimate redeemer of the Jewish people that would lead the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim. And at the time, there was a gezerah that all Jewish boys would be killed, thrown into the Nile. And Miriam convinced her parents, Yocheved and Amram, to have this child. And she was the one that put him into the Teva at the very beginning when he was only 3 months old. And she watched him float down the Nile into the hands of Basia, Bas Paro. And she was there to ask Basia to hand the child back to the mother so that he could be nursed. And from the very, very beginning of Moshe's life, Miriam was there watching him, nourishing him, and ultimately saw that he was raised in the house of Paro, and as we all know, was the one that led the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim through the Yam Suf, and her nevuah ultimately proved to be true. And you can only imagine the exhilaration when Miriam turned around and saw all the Mitzrayim and all their horses and everything dead in the Yam Suf, and the Jewish people together in unison singing the Shir Shoyam that we sing every morning in Pesukei Zimram. What other reaction could Miriam have possibly but not to burst out in spontaneous joy and song and a beautiful expression of her simcha? Who else but Miriam, who was there at the very, very beginning, at the inception of the Geula for the Jewish people? Who else could have sang this beautiful song, not just for herself, but for all the women? And the bracha, perhaps for all of us, is that we should be able to experience our loved ones' moments of simcha, experience many, many moments, male simcha, for the ones that we are meiser nefesh to, that we put in so much time and love and attention and emotion, that those are the loved ones that when they reach those pinnacles in life and those moments of simcha, that we also find ourselves on the dance floor in song, in dance, and that we should have many, many occasions with our loved ones of simcha. A good Shabbos.